Mom deserves the best, and there's no better place to shop for Mother's Day than Whole Foods Market. They're your destination for unbeatable savings, from premium gifts to show-stopping flowers and irresistible desserts. Start by saving 33% with Prime on all body care and candles. Then get a 15-stem bunch of tulips for just $9.99 each with Prime. Round out Mom's menu with festive rosé, irresistible berry chantilly cake, and more special treats. Come celebrate Mother's Day at Whole Foods Market.
It's Pride Month. It's
God.
still Pride. It's still Pride, kids. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Listen, so I was the other Sunday, I was going
it's us. I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah. Taking a Pride. Anyway, Sunday, so the C train's not running, the A train's not running. Okay, we'll take a bus to J Street and then we'll switch. Okay, cool.
I had to do that, yeah.
No, walking down the street, about to go to the bus stop on Fulton, and what's coming up the street? What the fuck? Okay? The trans gentrification, it was confusing. It was a lot of issues in one march. But
it was a trans lives matter. Yeah, right. and it was beautiful. I was actually in Brooklyn and I saw a lot of the kids. I love seeing all the young people, and
it was fun, but it was just one of those like, only in New York could I get not cross the street. Mm-hmm. It's like and I was like, yay!
And everybody was wearing white, right? They all had on white.
Last year, I was actually inadvertently at that march. I didn't realize that's what it was, and I, of course, was not wearing white because I don't own anything that's white. And I was in that march, so I was very glad to see it. But I don't know what this has to do with anything. Good morning.
Good morning. Is that a Knicks shirt you have on?
It's not a Knicks shirt. It's a Conrad McRae Youth League, but there's a cosign by the Knicks, and I will say when I do wear this in the neighborhood, all 4 black people that are left in Fort Greene give me the represent.
All 4 of them?
All 4 of them.
There's still some they didn't get.
Well, not including their cousin and Nene. Yeah, they all go, yo, what's up? What's up with that shirt?
Right, like, no, that's a great shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So, you voted early, I voted early. Can I just say, I just did it because I just want the phone calls and the texts
to stop.
And the person knocking on my door to stop. It's like, I'm worn out. We've gone from the presidential election right into a mayoral election, which next year we go into our midterms and our gubernatorial election, and then we're going to go into another presidential cycle. There's been no break in New York. Zero chill. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then there's this little pesky pandemic thing, too.
And now, I don't know, like, for all you got, first of all, I was just looking at some of our stats today.
So who'd you vote for?
Well, this is what I have decided now.
Your vote is sacred. Your vote is sacred.
For moving forward, I'm just not going to tell anybody who I'm voting for.
I don't blame you.
Because I'm tired of it becoming such a divisive issue that I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to tell anybody who I vote for anything.
Your vote is secret. Yeah. It's supposed to be a secret. Yeah. That's why there's things surrounding you when you vote. I voted early, too, because I was just like, I voted on Sunday. I said, look, there's nothing else that can be said that will change your mind. If anything that dramatic happens between now and the regular, this is the regular. They're all acting up as if, let me just get over and done with. It's one less bell to answer. Just fucking do it. I'm happy with who I voted for.
Me too. I made my choices. I
made my choices, and it's an ungovernable city either which way. So.
Like whoever, it's a shit job.
It's a shit job.
And here's the funny thing. They were so happy that I came to vote. Everybody was like, thank you so much. Thank you.
Know.
Because these mayoral elections in New York, the turnout is always so poor. Like, de Blasio won because, like, his 2 cousins, me, you, and 5 other people showed up. It was the lowest turnout. And I feel like people have such a burnout, and coming out of this pandemic that's not over, but everybody's acting like it's over, I think we're going to have another low turnout.
No, I don't think it is, because this year we're electing a new mayor. We were just re-electing him the last time.
Yeah, but there's no real competition. Like, here's the thing. Whoever gets it on the Democratic side, what are they going to go against? Curtis Sliwa?
They won. Whoever wins on the Democratic side is the mayor.
Right.
I mean, they just have to do that other thing because we are so far still a democracy. So far. I mean, who knows? But no, whoever wins is the mayor. But I was fine. I voted. I got into it with like one of the people campaigning for our city council. It was one of those. I was very polite. I said, "Look, I support your candidate, but I'm ranking so and so first, but I'm ranking second." And I started getting hit with the blah 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 blah. And as a queer Black woman, I went, "All right, you know what? Bye."
It's like Merry Christmas.
Yeah, really.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. I already
Let's
voted.
dance. I can't do it. I can't, and I'm not going to do what you can.
And I'm not going to do it. All right. Well, speaking of things that people line up for, I heard a little rumor that last Saturday was hipster Comic-Con, a.k.a. Record Store Day.
Well, no, we're not going to stick those hipsters in because they came late. But for all of us who really love records and everybody who just got a turntable from their spouse or cousin at Christmas.
I'm selling mine, by the way.
It's a really good day. Amy's selling hers. It's a really good day to help the small. It really started as something to really help independent record stores.
When did it start? I mean, I'm joking around. I know it's been.
I believe it started around 2015.
So maybe. It's really recent.
It's recent. It was to try to really help small independent record stores, and it became a big thing. It just was a hit. You do limited edition vinyl, maybe some reissues on vinyl, sometimes albums that have never been on vinyl, limited amounts. And
so that's why
everybody queues up.
Because I'm sitting there going, okay, like record stores are open all the time. Why is everybody like lining up like it's the new Jordans? So the industry's in on it.
Absolutely. So like the Prince records that we got, like, I went to Cinderblock. I was out there from 9:40 in the morning.
What's up?
The Prince records, there are only 13,000 of them. Some records, there are 5,000 that they made. Some are 10. It's a limited amount. And they have them for Europe, too. Like in the UK, some of their exclusives were Little Mix and Amy Winehouse. So it's really taken off around the world. And
that's cool.
It's been great for these independent stores. And, vinyl has been great for independent record stores, which is like, who would have thought that we saw the day that vinyl comes back and that's the thing that's kind of really generating so much revenue.
It kind of like is a cool thing because when you think about it, the big chains put understandably, all their energy into one thing. So it makes sense that vinyl's become a boutique industry in a lot of ways,
right.
And it kind of suits the whole vibe of going through the crates.
Absolutely. And playing records. And what I have to tell you, to me, I'm not a huge reissue person. I love the original vinyls from those pressings. I like a little snap crackle in my pop. And when I play my music on vinyl, to me it just sounds better. I love the way it sounds coming out the speakers, Well,
that's good. Well, I'm glad that it was. I didn't know that.
It seems like it was a success across the board,
Good. Yeah, I saw a lot of people like online talking about cool things they found. So
and there's a second one in July this year. Cool. July, there are two this year. There's a second one in July.
Yeah, it's a good way to support local business and get. There's nothing wrong with if you're going to have an obsession. Music is probably the better obsession you can have. And
I think, I've said it a million times, buy local, support local. I love being my neighborhood, and I love that it's a neighborhood. It bothers me now that 120, when you go down 125th Street, so many of the little mom and pop stores that used to be there aren't there anymore, and what's been coming in is all of the big corporate stuff. So it's turning into 34th Street, like designer buildings with really expensive condos or rentals, and then all of the shops, none of the mom and pop stuff, but everything that's corporate that will pay corporate prices. There's this outlet, this store, this chain restaurant, but none of the little places anymore. It's always, you see those strips just being emptied. Like they bought out a whole row, emptied it all out. And that's where the Trader Joe's and Target and all of that's coming to 125th. So in certain ways, you have this shopping corridor that's going to serve the people of town. But at the same time, we always hear them talking about small business, but it's impossible damn near to have a small business in this town.
Well, that is a beautiful segue, talking about neighborhoods, to talk about Lin-Manuel Miranda's the film of his Tony Award-winning play, In the Heights, which was supposed to come out a year ago, but then this pandemic happened, this made-up pandemic. So this is the show that basically introduced Lin-Manuel Miranda to the general public. It was on Broadway, won a Tony. Lin-Manuel Miranda, for those of you who've been in a coma for the last 10 years, is the man behind Hamilton.
A show that I was invited to like 3 times, and I was like, I don't want to see it.
It's, well, whatever.
And I still don't want to see it.
No, it's really good. I saw it on the Disney thing. I
don't even like the music. It doesn't move me. For whatever reason, it's just like, I don't care.
Well, anyway, I saw it. I didn't see it in person. I saw it on Disney.
And you liked it?
Yeah, very much. Very much. I too was like, how good could it be? And I was like, yeah, it is that good. But you do see, you know, the beginnings of his sort of style, which is sort of like the talking, rapping. There is dialogue in this, which is good. But anyway, so In the Heights is on HBO Max and also opened in the theaters. A lot of people on Facebook and my friends saw it in the theaters. It's gotten rave reviews, but it is not done well box office wise. It only brought in 11 million. They thought it would do a lot better. And I gotta say, how do you judge box office when you have people also streaming it too, right? I mean, there's that. I can sort of understand why it didn't do huge numbers because there's no star. The best known guy in the thing is not even credited, and that's Mark Anthony and Jimmy Smith. Mark Anthony is in it for like literally 10 seconds, a very good 10 seconds. But Anthony Ramos, who is just beyond great in everything, but he's not like a big star yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I watched it last night because it was part of my homework assignment. I had to watch In the Heights and listen to the Migos record. I tried to do it both at the same time, but it was confusing. I liked it. It's too long. I don't have 2.5 hours. I don't have that. I liked it. It's beautifully choreographed. It looks like a Buzzbeat. Like he makes Uptown like look like this fantasy land. You know what I mean? It's like there's a choreographed thing in the public pool uptown, and the costumes are great. It doesn't look like some dopey white person went to, Forever 21.
It looks like a wonderful place where no one looks like me.
Well, there's that. That's the thing. I mean, so I'll get to that. The music is great. My one problem I was telling you is that somebody once said that the new generation of Broadway singers, all the women sound like Disney fairy princesses. So there's no distinctive voice except for Daphne Rubin Vega, who kills. And then it's good. And Anthony Rubin. But yes, there has been a huge backlash. Well, not a huge, but a significant backlash against Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is Puerto Rican, who grew up uptown, about the fact that there are no Afro-Latina actors in this movie. And it's supposed to be set in Washington Heights.
which is up the street from me, right up there. Which,
for those of you playing the at-home version, is a neighborhood.
There's a lot of people that look like me.
Yes. It's a predominantly...
They're not African-American, but they look like me.
They are Hispanic, they are Latino, they are Puerto Rican, they are Dominican, but they are dark skinned. There's not anyway. So there's one black guy in the movie, he's one of the leads, and they never identify whether he's African American or Afro-Latina, and the reason you're thinking he might just be a black guy is because the actor who plays him also played Dre in Straight Outta Compton. So I'm like, oh, so he just must be a black guy. And he never speaks Spanish. Every other character in the movie at some point is speaking Spanish. Anyway, so talk about that issue of colorism. Because I know you had some stuff to say about that. Courtney?
Well, this is what I have to say. I hate when that subject comes up and people say shit like, I'm listening. It's like, you're listening to what, sir? You grew up in that neighborhood. You're like, my apartment's right there. My parents' apartment's right here. What do you need to listen to? You know the neighborhood that you grew up in. You know the flavors of the community. And I think that's a cop-out answer. And I think it's bullshit. You got called out, and you should just say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're talking to Lin-Manuel Miranda's response.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, listen. You're listening to what? You grew up in this neighborhood. You know the fabric of that neighborhood.
He also tried to throw the director under the
bus. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that kind of bullshit.
Who is Asian? The director is Asian.
What I'm saying?
It's not his responsibility to know.
It's like, sir, we're not going to do that today.
Yeah.
I couldn't listen. musicals, and I love a musical. I go to musicals. The musicals are a hard sell on the screen if you're not coming with a bunch of big stars that people want. And this is a 2.5 hour musical with not big stars that people are like, yes, Anthony Ramos is great. People know him from the theater, but he cannot carry that movie yet, I don't think, to get people in a box office. Yes, it had a lot of buzz, but if you're not a theater kid, you're not going to be in a rush to sit through 2.5 hours of singing and dancing. You're just not.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. I mean, I do think that
we'll have a long life in streaming and online.
Yes, I think part of the problem is, like we've discussed, this the whole dynamic of what is popular, how do you gauge popularity now is so off, because if you do have the option of sitting in your house and watching it, that's a whole different thing. Yeah, he's not a big enough star yet, Anthony Ramos, but his star is definitely ascendant. He has been in many things that people have seen him in and not realized it's him. I mean, he was in A Star Is Born. He was in the horrible reboot of She's Gotta Have It. But he was the best.
I hated that.
With a passion. No, with a passion. With a passion.
I really did not like that.
No, with a passion.
Did not like it.
No,
I wanted to like it.
Me too.
Really wanted to like it because She's Gotta Have It.
No,
that's me. That's college. Me and my friends, like that whole.
No, with a passion.
But
with
that was like, what the fuck is this?
What the fuck? But he was handpicked, Anthony Ramos, by Spike to recreate Mars Blackman, which is major because that's a very whatever you think of the movie and whatever you think of Spike, that's an iconic character. And he's in treatment right now, which is he is the best thing in treatment. He's a fantastic actor, but yes, you're right. He's not a big enough star. Jimmy Smits being in it. If people don't know who Jimmy Smits are under the age of 25. They have no idea who he is.
Right.
And that's not to be mean. It just is a fact.
Right. And listen, and Daphne's amazing. Daphne's Broadway and those club hits. Remember, she had Change, and I found it is my shit. I still play.
No, she kills in this.
What do you think about Made in America coming back this year to Philadelphia with your favorite person as the headliner, Justin Bieber?
I gotta
Megan
say,
Thee Stallion, Lil Baby,
it's A$AP
Ferg, Bobby Shmurda, Freddie Gibbs, Tinashe.
Is this Bobby Shmurda's first gig since being released?
This is
first major gig.
First major gig.
Yeah. I mean, it's look, these festival things, it's like you're glad it's happening, blah, 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 blah. To me, it's a very lineup. It really is. There's no must-see act on there. For me, there's a bunch of good people.
Well, this is not our age group. For a lot of people, this Justin Bieber, Megan, that will be must-see for a lot of young people. It's a good lineup for them.
But I mean, can Justin Bieber perform live? No, he cannot.
You and I have a difference on him. I'm not a big fan, but I like his music, and I like his the young music I don't really pay attention to. That song he has, Peaches, is hot, and his grown-up music has been really good. It's really written well, it's produced well, and it's sang well. I can't take that from him.
But can he sing live? Is he going to sing, or is he going to sing?
I've heard him sing live. He can sing live. Yeah, he can sing live.
Yeah, I just find him to be...
I don't pay attention to him, but I can listen to the music. You know what I've gotten as I've gotten older, and I get that thing that you're talking about. I just don't pay attention to the other shit anymore because it's all so young and it's not for me.
Oh, no, it's totally not for me.
And so, I don't follow, and I don't really follow any celebrities really on IG or anything other than, Kylie Minogue and Grace Jones because, Yeah,
but that's beyond celebrity.
Yes,
that's not celebrity.
Yes, but it's like, for me, I just come to now a place where I can just listen to the music, especially because his music to me does not sound like little kiddie music. He's making good songs.
No, I'm not talking about his image. I just I've always found him to be a little too needy for my liking. Mm-hmm. He wants to so much. He's so desperate for approval all the time.
He was a kid. They were kids,
he's not a kid anymore.
No, but I think that it's less that.
Yeah, I just find him, look, he's not for me. Yeah. Better him than Chris Brown in that lane. Okay.
I like Chris Brown's music. He makes great music.
Yeah, but I will not even give Chris Brown a moment of my attention because as far as I'm concerned, Chris Chris Brown is a piece of shit. And you know what? There's a big world out there, and I can put my mental energy towards someone who is not a piece of shit. You know what I mean? There's so many people. So better Justin Bieber. He's fine. I like Justin Bieber in small doses.
Mm-hmm.
In small doses, which is, you know, give me him on a Drake track, give me him on a Khaled track, you know. But I think the lineup, as we said, it's not for us. Megan Thee Stallion has a great single out right now. I think she's proving to be like a sleeper. Like, I don't think people figured she would go more than 1 or 2 singles. And I think she's going to escape the best new artist curse for sure.
Well, I think that she has something to say.
Yeah.
This is what and this is not, I don't want this to sound shitty. So, but this is really, there's something about exposure and education. Because this is a college educated woman, right?
Yeah.
So she really has something to say, and there's something behind it. And I'm not saying you have to go to college to have something to say and have an opinion and have it strong, but there is something, and because I'm an advocate, especially to young people. I think you know, especially being in certain industries, that education will really help you, because the entertainment part of your job is about 45%. That other 55% is the business, and it's really tough. And having an education base will help you maneuver through some of this. And I think it informs. She's someone whose job it is to have words. It helps to even know more words, right?
That's the thing too. I mean, you know, someone who went to college late in life and now teaches in college. One of the things that I love the most about college is that exposure. It's exposure. Mm. So, you know, back in the day, it used to be rappers or rock stars, they would go to Europe and want to have nachos, and you'd be like, but you're in Italy. They don't have nachos in Italy. Right. Like, why don't you experience what's going on here? I remember interviewing Jay-Z a million years ago, and he talked about how being in another country, even though he was living way larger than we would in another country, like, you're suddenly like, and this sounds so crazy, he was like, they have mosquitoes in other countries.
Right.
Yes, they have mosquitoes in other countries.
Right.
But you need that exposure. So I think the reason that you're right, that she's going to have maybe a longevity, is that even though she's raunchy and all that stuff, she has, Cardi's like that too. Cardi B's like that too. She has something going on up here other than fuck me, suck me going on. Yeah. You know, there's more going on. And I think ultimately,
like I said it to you before, I like the way Megan raps. I really like Cardi. I don't love the way she raps.
I know. Yeah. I think
but
I like
love
Cardi.
her. So it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, you just buy into the idea of her, because what's not to like? Yeah,
it's the cardiness of it all.
You know what I mean?
It's the cardiness. I love her. I love the whole thing. Is she the greatest rapper? Not even close. Not even close. But there is just something so eminently appealing about her that you can't. And she is on. Speaking of Cardi, she's on the new Migos record, right? There's she's with the husband to help the husband's career, because you want to talk about Migos now, or do you want to just mention?
No, because they're going to our new music. Let's go into our girls, because this moment.
All right, I'm going to go out for a cup of coffee.
It is 25 years of spice.
And not
it's Wannabe's 25th anniversary. It is 25 years of spice. And they are coming out with a new Wannabe picture disc EP with 4 tracks, including, I have those tracks that are on there, but including the Junior Vasquez remix. I actually have that on vinyl, but including an unreleased track that was recorded during that time period. So of course I've already, I'm like, I need that in my life, because it's the Spice Girls. But it's really interesting to me how the Spice Girls' real grasp on the music industry was under 5 years in total, from start to finish. But to have that kind of an impact on the world still 25 years later. People still want tours. People still want things from these women. Shows you the power of music, the power of pop music. If you hit at the right time, I mean, it was just, there was nothing spectacular, right? Like about this group of women. They put them together. The press gave them those names. The song comes, it hits all over the world, but they kind of hit lightning in a bottle the way they sparked that girl power with girls, and it stuck with little girls.
Well, it was great marketing.
Yeah, it's great marketing.
Great marketing. I mean, and this is not to take away from them, but they came fully formed because song for song, TLC had the better material.
Absolutely.
I mean, image-wise, TLC, but the Spice Girls from everyone, and I
love the Spice Girls songs. They're great songs.
No, they are, but I'm saying that Adele has very humorously on when she did Carpool Karaoke, like, this is not ironic. She was, if you were a little girl, if you were 13, 14 years old, and those girls were in front of you, you had someone you could glom onto. You're like, true. Oh, I'm sort of like this.
There's the tomboy. There's the black girl. She has curly hair like me. And there's Victoria, who's giving you very posh. And then, Ginger, my girl. I was always a sporty person. Sporty's my favorite.
Yeah, sporty. That's Mel C.
I love Mel C. I love her. But I'm just happy. It really was a moment in time. I've seen them in concert twice. I saw them when they came for the Spice World Tour the first time. I saw them when they came back in, I believe it was like 2009 or whatever year that was, the return of the Spice Girls. And when I was working at Columbia, when I was a young assistant, you never got to, and I was in video promotion. That was our wheelhouse, the MTV Awards. I would always have to do, the assistant shit, like travel for the artists and their whole team. And oh my God, when Ricky Martin was doing it, and I was working with that, and I was at that point not the assistant, but still it was 50 people traveling from all over the world. That was crazy. Anyway, I digress. My first time getting actual tickets to the show from my bosses, I was so happy. It was the year that the Spice Girls performed on the MTV Awards. So I got to see them the first time around with the 5 of them, and they did Say You'll Be There. And I was sitting in the audience. I was sitting a couple of rows behind, dying the entire time, just staring at their heads like, oh my God, there's Victoria. Oh my God, there's Mel C. And I just love that music is held up as great pop songs. And they had an image that never really flipped and changed. It was like everybody had their role, and that stuck. And I think it was for little girls, like you said, because each one could look at somebody and identify with
go,
it.
I could be this one.
And it kind of buys into the subject that you and I want to talk about, how some people feel that like with the new Lorde coming out, and we love it. Now she's happy Lorde, right?
Well, I don't love that single.
I love the song.
I don't love it.
Oh, I love
hate
it.
I love it. Hate it, but I don't love it.
To me, it makes me feel like skipping and summer.
Yeah,
it makes me want to be on my bike, playing it really loud, riding down the street while on a hot day. I
think it's a good song. It's an introduction to something else. I don't. But anyway, we were talking about the fact it's a very different image for Lorde. And a lot of the women, looking at Lorde, and I don't want to say I hate the song, I just don't love it. I hear there's so many influences. I hope Tribe is getting a check for her sample. That's all I got to say on that.
First, no one's not clearing a sample. See, I don't have a problem with that kind of stuff because Tribe sample. No. She doesn't sample them. She quotes a lyric. Yeah, but still, when you do that, that's the same thing. Someone's getting.
I was saying it sort of somewhat facetiously, but
I feel like I don't have a problem. I thought you would love this song. It's so happy, breezy.
I don't not love it. I just don't. It hasn't grabbed me. I feel like it's 2 songs in one. What I think is interesting is the Lorde song and Billie Eilish's New Direction. People mainly men, seem to be more bent out of shape that women who started in the industry when they were teenagers, seem to be, and Lorde even younger than Billie Eilish, and Lorde not working with her big brother who helped protect her in a way. They seem to be more bent out of shape that they're changing in some way. They seem to be, now I'm going to be, full disclosure, I was sort of taken aback by Billie Eilish's new mature, I'm making air quotes like people can see me. You can see me. I'm making air quotes. Her new image, because I thought, God, I hope she's not doing this because some guy told her to do it. Right. But she has a new look, a new image. I don't notice anybody losing their shit when Justin Bieber decides to have a totally new look, because they're like, oh, he's growing up, blah, blah, blah. I mean, people change. Well, I hope to God I don't look the same now as I did when I was 20.
I think it's full of shit when they do that and act like pop stars and female pop stars have to change. I'm like, it's art. Each time you're creating a new album, a new energy, you're going along with it. If you look at pictures of me from 16, my hair was one color. 17, my hair was one color. 20, my hair was one color. My style was different. 25, my hair was one color. My style was different. It's like, if I look at pictures of my mother from 16, her style was different. 18, her style. You just grow, you change, you do shit. It's like, and if you're creating new art, you're gonna.
No, but the difference is that women, not all women, but women, especially in a pop realm, are expected to constantly come with a package, with a whole new look.
Well, no, that's not true.
That's my opinion.
People think that because Diana Ross never changed her look. She was always Diana Ross. I'm not talking about Diana Ross.
No, hold on. Contemporary pop.
Okay, Beyonce's never changed her look. She's always Beyonce.
What?
Beyonce. She gives you different outfits. You don't look at Beyonce and go, oh, look, there are different eras where the hair and everything was different. It's like, yeah, she'll go from a gown to a bodysuit, but she's not giving you radically different looks. You know what I mean? Kylie Minogue Kylie has had eras, but they've always been Kylie Minogue. I think that first of all, most people when they start in pop are young, right? So you're growing and you're changing, and each album, if you're making music and it has these influences, a lot of times you're like, okay, like Britney's Circus was circus themed, so all of her stuff around that was circus themed.
We're agreeing with each other. I'm just seeing it. We're totally agreeing. What I'm saying is sometimes I feel like women are expected to come with, like, okay.
You mean like the hair, the makeup, the gowns, the dances, the full thing?
No. I feel like this is what I feel, and I may be off base, but I feel like if Lorde, I'm not talking about an age thing. If Lorde had come out with this song now,
right,
and was dressed somewhat like she was in the beginning, if the hair was kind of whatever, people would say, "Oh my God, why hasn't she matured as an artist?" Cut to the flip side. She comes out, she's in her 20s. We have to assume she's having sex at this point. She's showing the body little. The response has been, why is she doing this? So she can't win. Women artists cannot. No, but women artists cannot win for losing. If you stay in one lane, they get mad at you that you're just, not all, but especially in the pop realm. So you can't win for losing. Women can't win for losing anyway. Black women and Latino women can't win for losing anyway in the industry.
Well, I'm gonna push back on that a little bit, because there's nobody pulling the leash of these young girls now saying you have to stay the same. I don't think anybody actually stays the same. I think the growth is for each new album. It's like, who wants to look the same? I think you just are always evolving into something different because your art's evolving, you're evolving, you've seen more, you've toured more, you've been around the world more, you're exposed to more.
We're agreeing with
it. We are agreeing, but I don't think there's this thing where you have to like.
No, not have to.
change.
I just feel like the criticism. Look, women get criticized for their looks and their presentation more. Nobody gives a flying fuck that rappers have come out year after year after year basically looking the same. Nobody gives a flying fuck that...
Well, if you think about it, though, with clothes and stuff, right? It's not until this recent generations that men even experiment more with their clothes. Like, what were men doing? They were either wearing suits or short pants. Like, women always had so many more options in pop, especially when we talk about 80s, 90s. Think about it. Boys all just wore baggy clothes, but girls you could wear skirts, you could wear shirts, you could have a gown, you could have this. And I think that some of that is playing dress up. Who doesn't want to play dress up, right? You get like if you can have if you have access to it all, why not try it all?
again, we're agreeing. What I'm saying is, if there is nothing wrong, I am not saying anyone's putting a gun to Lord's head.
But I didn't say anybody did. I'm just stating my opinion. I know you keep coming with, we're agreeing like I'm disagreeing with you. I'm just saying how
I'm affirming that we're agreeing. What I'm saying is, I think basically that in the pop realm and pop music is not always taken as seriously. It is and it isn't. I feel like it's just interesting to me that the initial criticism of the Lorde single was
how she looked.
Was how she looked. That it's like, who gives a fuck? Because she got criticized when she was 15 for how she looked. Why is she covering up her face? Why is she wearing these baggy clothes? Blah blah blah. Billie Eilish. Why doesn't she have the green hair anymore? And then you criticized her for having the green hair. So
but the thing that I love is the kids that love them, they don't give a shit what all these people who are writing that have to say.
No, but we are living, I mean, we have to,
Look at Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande hasn't changed her look the entire time. She just has been Lolita with a long ponytail at this point for 7 albums.
Right, and it works against her, I think.
No, it doesn't. She's one of the top artists, the new contemporary artists.
It works against her in terms of, I think it's the look when she was younger was way too sexualized. A girl should not, a young girl presenting herself as that sexualized, for me, is problematic. Doing it now is fine, but when you're 16 years old, you should not be Lolita. You shouldn't. That's a hypersexualized look. That's the male gaze. No woman wants to see a woman looking like that. Men want to see a woman. All right, so stop.
Well, remember, we had that conversation about that other young lady, and I said, I don't have a problem with sexy. I don't have a problem with nudity. I have a problem when it looks like you're not doing it as a celebration of your body, but when you look like you're doing it for men. That is the subtle thing. And I just think that you can show you can do it whatever you want to your body. I love it. But do it for yourself. I feel like when you start doing it for like the male gaze sometimes. And listen, I know everybody wants to be sexy to the other sex. Or
the same sex.
Or the same sex. But I just worry about with this industry, if you're over sexualized young, you find yourself, because there's a lot of just really disgusting people.
It's too raunchy. Some of it is.
And some of these motherfuckers, I mean, you see some things are changing because things that used to happen are just not acceptable anymore.
Right.
So I just always want all of the young ladies, like, and the young guys, when you're using sexuality, just have a strong team of people around you. And if that's what you do, that's great. But you need to have a strong team of people around you so that people don't just start treating you like that, because people see that as real life.
Well, and
then your talent, then all of a sudden your talent is secondary.
And neither one. It's just really interesting to me, and I say this as someone who is definitely getting older and whatever. It's always interesting. It's a different industry, but it's always interesting to me that when people talk about Frances McDormand, the actress Frances McDormand, who's a brilliant actress, their first comment is on her looks, on the way she doesn't wear makeup, and or Jamie Lee Curtis, she doesn't wear high heels to things. So I have nothing against Ariana Grande other than the fact I literally have had no idea what the woman is singing about, because she literally is like Mushmouth and Pumpkin Puss. I have no idea what she is saying. I just was bothered by her being that sexualized. There's a difference between being sexy and sexualized. And when you're under the age of consent, you should not be coming out there looking. And what she wore to Aretha Franklin's funeral was appalling.
I mean,
that was one of the great jaw-dropping, like,
when she came out there, I was like,
she wore this like literally.
It wasn't like a black
t-shirt.
It was like a black cocktail
dress. Yeah, that was so short, and the best part was Jesse Jackson sitting behind her and Bill Clinton kind of trying to look, and I was like, honey, you're at a funeral.
I just remember thinking,
oh my God.
So you went through your closet,
and that's what
you're coming to sing at Aretha Franklin's funeral.
You're invited. You're invited by Aretha's family.
Yourself, you know which gown? No, not that gown. No, not that. Give me that one.
Give me that one.
Do you remember?
I'm going to an Italian. It's like, give me the I'm going to an Italian wedding outfit.
It was
that was one
of
those.
That funeral had so many things. That
was one of the great moments of like, really, Ariana, you're the only white person at this thing and you're going to literally show your ass like that? Like, come on,
Was it
Ariana.
Aretha's funeral or was it Whitney Houston's funeral that Alicia Keys got on the piano and was just singing, and it was like, what's
if it was Alicia on the piano, she was very loud and very flat.
It was really
it was probably Whitney. It would have been Whitney or Michael, and she wasn't invited to Michael, so it was probably Whitney.
Oh my
Same
God.
label. Yeah.
And do you remember the shade of Dionne Warwick introducing Aretha Franklin at Whitney's, but Aretha wasn't there?
No, it was bad. It was very, very.
Ariana came out in that dress, and I remember I remember literally gasping, like, "Oh my God, you did not wear that to Aretha Franklin."
No, it was just like, who let you out? Who let the dogs out? Who let you out of the house?
But it was like,
oh God, we'll have to find a picture. But Jesse Jackson, two men who have been credibly accused of sexual misconduct, if not assault, like doing the looking around, trying not to look, and the minister being all like, "Oh, hugging a little too long."
It was all like, what is happening?
It was so bad. It was good. It was so bad, and then the next thing you know, she's driven into
Now,
the
can I just say this
Davidson.
about Billie Eilish? If you're going to change your image that drastically, and listen, I'm all for a drastic image change. I'm gonna need the music to be a little better, though. These songs,
but she's changing her sound.
But these last, listen. We went from Pink, who was black on her first album, to Misunderstood second album. I'm all for, you can give me an album that sounds different every time. I will follow you on the journey. Just make the songs good.
Yeah.
Songs need to be good.
I can't think of what the one where she's sitting in the rock somewhere.
Yeah, I can't, you know what I mean? It's like,
she seems to be going through that, my biggest problem was the Miley Cyrus 580 that she did. Okay, you don't want to be Hannah Montana, we got it. And then you're going to be hyper sexualized, and you're going to basically rip off fucking black culture for your own means, and then go, that's not working for me anymore. Now I'm going to be Stevie Nicks standing in the forest somewhere singing, and then I'm going to
then she's Joan
Pick a lane.
This is why I will say to everybody, she may act a little kooky now, but it was never easy, and people always say Madonna changed her image, but it was always seamless the way, if you go through all of those different, especially your early career and the phases of Madonna.
Right.
It is not an easy thing to keep people interested.
Right.
Make those kind of changes with music and style and visually and have it be seamless. We're seeing now, like, a lot of these kids are they're smacking against the wall trying to figure it out. And a lot of it is a little weird and not working. And it's hard to grow and be consistent in that.
Well, there is a reason, even though she's not nearly the talent that he is. I mean, she's talented, but she's not even in his lane. But there is a reason, why Madonna, I believe Madonna was tapped to induct David Bowie into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bowie, one of the jokes about Bowie always was that he was constantly changing things up. But it was one of the strengths. One of the strengths of Bowie was this constant metamorphosis.
Right.
To the point where you're like, which one am I? I mean, where it gets confusing is who am I really looking at? But I will say that things are so prefabricated now and so plotted out, and so my team and so my people, that the line between actual expression and marketing meeting is so fucking thin right now that you can't even tell what's going on.
Well, you know what the difference is? The Bowies, the Madonnas, they were in the clubs. They were like underground New York, underground London. They were really part of a scene where they were all hanging out, like Basquiat and all that. They had that energy. These young kids now are being discovered young. They're being molded. They're not all of them are even getting artist development. Listen, you want to know why HER is so successful? She had artist development for real.
Do we call her, I'm not being joking around. Is she referred to as her or HER?
When she first came out, it was HER, and people just started calling her her. because that was easier. I still call her HER because that's what it originally was. And I like
what
HER.
Does it stand for something, or is it just a way of spelling her?
It's just a way of spelling her.
Oh, you know who else? And it kind of leads into stuff that we're listening to. But what I was going to say in terms of the imaging, then we can talk about the new stuff to wrap up. And then you have the other side where Gwen Stefani, who broke boundaries, who was great, is literally like, bitch, you're a mother of 3, you're almost 50, you're married to or engaged.
50s. Okay. She's not almost 50, she's in her 50s. Yeah.
Is she in her 50s?
Yes, she is.
Is she?
Yes.
We'll have to look. But the point is that, I loved in the past tense Gwen Stefani. I saw her at the Garden, and it was like more big. I was like, if I was 14 years old.
She's 51.
Okay, well, she's crossed the threshold. You're engaged to like a fucking Republican for all intents and purposes.
They're married now.
Oh, are they? Well, mazel tov. She looks a little ridiculous. Still fucking having the young rapper, still ripping off other people's culture, still problematic cultural appropriation.
I don't know. See, I hate that. I feel like you can be influenced and make music. I don't think music has.
She has a bunch of black girls doing double dutch in her new video, and it's all black girls. They're there as props. They're props. She had all those Japanese girls. They're props. She comes out in Indian headdresses. I like her old music. I love No Doubt. I find, and I'm not saying this because she's older, but she looks a little crazy coming out in the exact outfit. It's like, I'm just a girl. No, you're not just a girl anymore. You're a woman. Make songs that reflect you being a woman. Right. I mean, stop. I'm not saying you have to do a lounge act for fuck's sake, but you look a little crazy literally redoing Holla Back Girl.
Well, it's just that the music's not good. What was it? Let me reintroduce myself. I think that's the thing, but it's not good.
There's two songs, and neither one of us could hum one of them except she looks great. Well, let's talk a little bit.
It's like that other one, Nicole Sugar. I'm
the only one who sang in the Pussycat Dolls. Well, there's an account. Yeah, whatever. Well, a woman that I really, really think is interesting. And has
had Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Had an interesting career thus far is SZA, and I'm very kind of quirky. Whoever is choosing her collaborations is doing a great job because she did one with Maroon 5, which made Maroon 5 interesting. So that's an accomplishment. She's one of Kendrick Lamar. She's on his label. So one with Kendrick, which was fantastic when Black Panther.
Well, no, there are different labels. Kendrick's on Interscope.
She's TDE.
As a manager, yes, but her music goes through RCA. She's an RCA. Well,
she was one of his people, you know. I like her. She's interesting. She's not, reinvent. She has a distinctive voice. It's her. And you already see people imitating her, which is really kind of funny. So she has a single out right now with St. John, who we like a lot. Yeah, St. John, because he is also somebody who's
Brooklyn-based guy from Brooklyn.
Giving you a different kind of thing. And it's because she's just for me. It's off the Space Jam. I heard the new Space Jam sucks like a vacuum cleaner.
I'm gonna say, I've heard a little peep too.
I've heard it sucks like a vacuum cleaner.
I've heard some peeps. I'm not trying to say nothing, I've heard really bad. I was like, what? Ooh.
Really bad. But it's a really great single. He's a little too heavily auto-tuned for my liking because he can actually sing, but it's very kind of minor chord. It's dark. And yet a love song. I like it a lot.
They love him in Europe. He's really in the UK. He's exploded there so much. I wish the US would catch up a little bit. The UK, they love him.
Roses was a decent size hit.
But it was a number one for like 7 weeks.
I can understand why he's bigger than UK. He's sort of their version, like the reverse of what happened with Seal over here.
Right.
Kind of off the beat, but I like him a lot. He's also funny as shit, and he's super smart, funny as shit. So I'm really, really liking that song a lot. And then Courtney made me listen to the new Migos record, which is called Culture 3. It's their third album, the end of a trilogy. Here's what I want to say about that. First off, it makes me feel old to listen to a Migos record. I'm instantly like, oh my fucking God. I loved Black and Bougie. I love the singles. Here's what I have to say about I will bet you that if you tell the average, like, Brooklyn high school kid, Migos has a new record out, they're going to go, who?
You think
It's been 4 years. 4 years in a teenager's lifestyle lifespan is forever.
Since Culture 2? Because
Culture
this is the
2
third
for 4 years. 4 years since Culture 2.
That's right, because they had all of those solo. Can I just say, I enjoy them better collectively than the solo work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like them and I like this album for them. It sounds good.
I like it. I like that each song sounds a little different. Sadly, two of the best collaborations on it were two artists who are no longer with us, Pop Smoke and Juice WRLD, and just the quality of their collaborations, it just adds even more sadness to the potential. Right. I will tell you, I slept on Juice WRLD and Pop Smoke when they came out. And
talented guys.
And longevity already.
Really,
it's sad. Both cases. It's both. Yeah. Their deaths are the yin and yang of the pitfalls of the industry and of being young black men, basically. It's because it's like literally they had their whole lives ahead of them. Perfect. Great people around them, great music, but they still matter to, and then, the other guys are on it, Moneybagg Yo, and I believe, and Cardi's on it because she's married to one of them. I forget which one. Who's she married to?
Offset.
Yeah, I like the Migos record. Am I going to listen to it? No, because I put it on and I feel 110 years old. And I don't need that, Courtney. I don't need to feel any older I am. All right. Any last words of wisdom, my friend?
Well, I would just like to say that I, for some reason, have been on a Dionne Warwick tear ever since she didn't get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's your lane. That's totally your lane.
I've just been going through lots of her albums, and man, listen, that lady really had some shit, man. Yeah. And I was listening to her Valley of the Dolls album and her Make Way for Dionne Warwick and Very Dionne, and then into her 80s stuff. Like, people should go back and listen to that Heartbreaker album again, produced by Barry Gibb wrote all those songs, and just great voice, And a little bit of Donny. I've been having Donny Hathaway mornings, lots of jazz and soul, and just.
I've been listening, and we'll discuss it because we want to do another show where we dive deep, but I have been really seriously listening to Scritti Politti, but not Perfect Way.
No, not what's the other one? What's the one? What's it called? Something like Aretha Franklin?
No, not that one. I'm listening to 90s and 2000s Scritti Politti. So we'll
you and Bill Coleman can have a whole conversation on Scritti Politti. He loves Scritti Politti.
No, I love Scritti Politti, which basically means I like Green Garçon.
Yeah, so we need to do a show and really dig into the catalog.
But I've just been going back and remembering because we'll save it for
that and Everything But the Girl, because I think a lot of people who love them came to them with the last 3 albums, but I started rocking with them at the beginning. And
have you heard her solo record? Did you hear?
Yeah, I have all of her solo records, and like the last one was Record. Yeah, I have it, and it's cool. But to me, it's that work they do together. Yeah. Especially those early records when they were kind of folky way before they got electronic and dance.
I have a crazy question. Is he Naomi Watts' brother? Because I know there's a Ben Watt who's a photographer. Is he Naomi Watts' brother?
I don't think he's Naomi Watts' brother. I don't think he's Naomi Watts' brother.
Okay.
There is a Ben Watt who's a photographer.
So that's Naomi Watts'
brother. I think that's her brother. Because this Watt, he and Tracy are married, and they've never...
are they married? For real?
Yes,
for real?
They're married.
Wow. So they're the Thompson twins.
They're married. They're married with children, and she,
Has he put on a few pounds since then? Because he looked really skinny.
Well, maybe he got sick, and that's when he got sick for a while, and that's when he lost all the weight. She had to get him back to health.
Women, that's what we do.
That is what you do.
We prop up the men, for fuck's sake. And
then they turn around and say, "Why aren't you wearing makeup and your hair is not?"
I know.
And you're like, "You really motherfucker!"
And then when you're over 50 or over 60, like me, you could literally stand in a crowd and set your head on fire and hand out marshmallows, and no one will see you.
Just aside, you're like free vagina. Free vagina.
No, see, free vagina. They don't see you. You're invisible. I'm like, when you're over, start talking to your women friends who are over 55.
I'm sorry,
you literally.
I'm a gay man in my 50s. They're not looking for me out there. If I go out, there's nobody my age, and then they think I'm the manager.
No. I'm not even talking about having sex. I'm talking about literally.
I'm talking about for anything. They think I'm the manager. Like, no. Can you tell us how to get to the back entrance? And I'm like, I'm here for the party. They're like, why?
Do you really seriously? I know we're invisible. It's like you feel like people are walking through you like a spy movie or something. All right. And on that note of self-pity and self-loathing.
Thank you, guys. This is, once again, it is us. I'm going to let you finish. Part of the Pantheon Podcast family. Shout out to all of the other shows on Pantheon. Yes, and remember, you can now hear us. Here's the list, Amy. You got it? Okay,
go, boy. Go.
Pantheon Podcasts, iHeart, Deezer, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, and Megaphone, Twitter, and Facebook. And I'm gonna let you finish, except for Twitter, where we have Finish Imma.
And if you give Courtney and me a Metro card and some churros, we'll stand outside your window and do the fucking show for you.
And I will sing for you some songs of Mylène Farmer that I have taught myself in broken French, and it will be all for your enjoyment.
You know, I used to sing in bands. We'll have that. I was in the first all-girl punk band in San Francisco, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
Or as Courtney likes to say, situation.
Situation. All right, kids. Well, it's Pride still, so happy Pride.
Stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe. You know how we do. Do your thing. Get a tan. Get a man. Do it all. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.